you're logging on early, you're staying late, and you're carrying the emotional and mental weight of your entire department. And yet, sitting just a few desks away, or a few squares over on Zoom, is the office ghost. This is the coworker who contributes absolutely nothing of substance. They dodge deadlines, they take 2-hour lunches, and their screensaver gets more screen time than their actual work. Yet, not only do they still have a job, they are thriving. Performance improvement plans. No reprimands. Nothing. As a psychologist who has spent years analyzing workplace dynamics and human behavior, I hear this frustration every single day. You sit there, staring at your screen, asking yourself, is the whole system broken? The short answer, no, the system isn't broken. It's functioning exactly as it was designed. Today, we are going to dissect the psychological playbook, the Untouchable Slacker. We are going to look at the 4 hidden reasons why the laziest people in your office are immune to consequences, while high achievers like you are punished with burnout. Once you see the psychology behind this, you will never operate in your workplace the same way again. Let's talk about the first reality. I call it the calculus of the bare minimum. If you are a high performer, your brain is wired for excellence. You see a task, and your instinct is to master it. You want your name on something you can be proud of. Lazy people do not share this psychological burden. They operate on a completely different frequency, the absolute minimum threshold for survival. They have a brilliant, almost obsessive understanding of what actually matters to HR and what is just corporate noise. While you are burning out trying to score a 100% on every tiny metric, the office ghost has figured out exactly which 2 boxes need to be checked to avoid getting fired. They know which deadlines are strict and which ones are just suggestions. They know which managers look at the hard data and which ones just want a smiling face in the morning meeting. They do the math on what they can abandon, and they get away with it because you are the one quietly picking up the pieces they leave behind. This brings us to the second dynamic, optics over output. Lazy people are absolute masters of energy conservation. They refuse to spend their energy on the daily grind. Instead, they invest 100% of their effort into perception. Have you ever noticed that the person doing the least amount of work is somehow best friends with the department director? They are always chatting by the coffee machine, always visible in the hallways, and always chiming in with a loud, confident joke right before the executive leaves the room. In corporate America, visibility is a currency that often trades higher than actual competence. The ghost intuitively understands that humans are biased. We confuse likability with value. They don't waste time on a spreadsheet no one will look at. They wait for the one high-stakes project with executive eyes on it, swoop in, do 10% of the work, and confidently attach their name to the victory. They let your humility create a vacuum, and they happily step in to play the hero. But here is where it gets toxic. And this is the third reason, the empathy trap. In psychology, we talk a lot about weaponized incompetence. Lazy coworkers build an accountability shield by actively leveraging your good nature against you. Think about your boss for a second. When a critical fires need putting out, crisis happens, who do they go to? You, because you are safe. You are reliable. Your boss knows that giving the task to the slacker means it will be done late or done wrong, and the boss will just have to fix it anyway. So, they skip the slacker entirely. The reward you get for doing great work is just more work. You are being graded on an impossibly high curve, while your lazy coworker's bar is resting comfortably on the floor. And the slacker knows this. They practice passive delegation. They know that if they just play dumb or drag their feet long enough, your anxiety and your pride will force you to step in and do their job for them. They create the pressure, you relieve it. If the project wins, they share the glory. If it fails, you are the one driving, so you take the crash. Which leads us to the final, most uncomfortable truth of all. Reason number 4, to management, the lazy employee isn't a problem. Take a step back and look through your manager's eyes. Is the slacker causing drama? No. Are they challenging the boss's authority? No. Are the team's metrics falling apart? No. Why aren't the metrics falling apart? Because you are holding them together. From where leadership is sitting, the machine is running smoothly. Firing someone requires paperwork, HR meetings, awkward conversations, and a grueling hiring process. Why would a manager go through all of that friction to fire a perfectly pleasant, smiling employee when the work is still magically getting done? Keeping them is the path of least resistance. So, earlier I mentioned that you are the one quietly picking up the pieces. And I can almost guarantee that the mere thought of purposely letting a project fail or a deadline slip triggers a genuine stress response in your nervous system. You are probably thinking, if I drop the ball, I'm the one who looks incompetent. My reputation will take the hit. Fear. That is the exact psychological mechanism your lazy coworker relies on. They are banking on your anxiety. They know your fear of failure is stronger than your resentment of their laziness. To break this cycle, we have to unwire what clinical psychologists call over-responsibility syndrome. This is the subconscious belief that if you do not step in to save the day, the world will collapse, and it will be your fault. You have tied your fundamental self-worth to being the fixer. But in a corporate environment, being the ultimate fixer doesn't get you a corner office. It gets you a one-way ticket to severe burnout. So, how do we practically dismantle this without destroying your hard-earned reputation? You execute a strategy I call the conscious disengagement. First, you have to master the tactical pause. High performers have a knee-jerk reaction to dead air. When a manager asks in a meeting who has the bandwidth to take this on, and the office ghost goes dead silent, looking at their phone, what do? You wait 3 seconds, the awkwardness becomes unbearable, and you raise your hand. I've got it. Stop. Let the silence hang. Let it become painfully awkward. Count to 10 in your head if you have to. Force the manager to call on someone by name. By simply refusing to rescue the room from silence, you force the system to acknowledge the dead weight. Next, you move to weaponized clarity. The slacker survives in the gray area, the foggy, undefined spaces of group work where accountability is blurry. Your job is to turn on the floodlights. Whenever you are forced to collaborate with them, document the division of labor with ruthless precision. Do not just have a hallway chat. Send the email. Hey, team, just confirming our strategy moving forward. I will be handling the data analysis by Tuesday, and as agreed, Marcus will be delivering the client presentation by Thursday. Copy your boss. You are not being malicious, you are being professional. But psychologically, you are building an undeniable paper trail. You are drawing a bright, neon line between your responsibilities and theirs. If Marcus fails to deliver on Thursday, the failure is isolated. It belongs solely to him. Finally, you must redistribute your ambition. Right now, you are spending 110% of your energy doing your job and theirs. I want you to scale back to 85%. Take that remaining 25% of your mental energy and invest it in your own visibility. Build relationships with leadership. Network across departments. Speak up about your own wins instead of quietly burying your head in the work. When you finally start setting these boundaries, I need to warn you about something. It is going to feel absolutely terrible at first. You are going to experience a genuine psychological withdrawal. You are used to the rush of putting out fires. So, when you deliberately step back and let that first ball drop to the floor, your brain is going to scream at you to dive and catch it. Don't. Hold your ground. Watch what happens when you permanently remove the invisible safety net. The first time the office ghost is forced to stand in the spotlight without your hard work propping them up, things will inevitably fracture, a deadline will be missed, and in that moment, your manager might panic. Out of habit, they will look at you, fully expecting you to step in and perform your usual midnight miracle. This is your crucible. This is where you look them in the eye, politely smile, and say, my bandwidth is completely tapped with my core deliverables, but I know Marcus is driving this initiative. You have to let the system feel the pain of its own inefficiency. Corporate organizations only fix what is visibly broken. As long as you were using your own mental health as spackle to hide the cracks in the wall, leadership had zero incentive to repair the foundation. By stepping back, you are not breaking the system. You are finally allowing the system to see its own flaws. In America, we live in a hyper-productive culture that aggressively conditions us to tie our human worth to our professional output. We brag about how exhausted we are, as if exhaustion is proof that we matter. But who is actually benefiting from your exhaustion? It certainly isn't you. It is time to brutally separate your identity from your job description. Your career is simply a vehicle. It is a transaction of your time for capital. It is not a measure of your worth as a human being. Protect your peace with the exact same ferocity that you use to protect your company's bottom line. Take all that brilliant, high-performing energy you've been wasting on covering for other people and redirect it into your real life. You are a high performer. You have a rare and valuable gift, but a gift given to a system that only exploits it is not generosity. It is self-sabotage. The era of the office martyr is officially over. Let the slackers play their games. Let management deal with the fallout. You have a life to live. If this deep dive gave you the clarity you've been looking for, hit that subscribe button, share this with a coworker who needs to hear it, and drop a comment below about the office ghost you've had to deal with. I read every single one. Until next time, protect your peace and know your worth.